Have you ever wondered what happens when we bid the final goodbye to our loved ones? What goes on behind the scenes to prepare them for their final journey? Welcome to the intricate world of Thanatopraxis, the art and science of caring for the deceased. Amid the grief and sorrow, there's a team of professionals working diligently to ensure that our dearly departed are prepared with dignity and respect for their final farewell. These professionals are often referred to as funeral directors or embalmers, and their role is far more complex than many of us realize. The process of preparing a body for a funeral is not merely a task, it's a profound responsibility, a blend of science, art, and a deep respect for the deceased. It is a process steeped in tradition, cultural nuances, and meticulous attention to detail. It's about creating a visual memory picture for the bereaved, a final image that provides comfort and aids in the healing process. From a scientific perspective, the embalming process involves preserving the body to delay the natural progression of decomposition. It requires a precise understanding of human anatomy, chemistry, and the mechanics of the embalming machines. But beyond the science, there's an art to it as well. The art lies in restoring a natural appearance, in making the deceased look at peace, almost as if they were merely sleeping. This is where the embalmer's skills truly shine, in their ability to recreate the essence of the person who was. But above all, it's about respect. Respect for the deceased, for their life and their journey. It's about honoring their memory, their beliefs, their customs. The funeral director or embalmer becomes the caretaker of a life's final chapter, providing a compassionate service to those navigating the difficult path of loss. This process, as complex and layered as it is not often discussed, but it's important to understand, to appreciate the work that goes into that final farewell, that final goodbye. So, are you ready to learn more? Let's delve into the step-by-step process of preparing a body for a funeral. The first step in this process is the removal and transportation of the deceased from the place of death to the funeral home. Now, this isn't as simple as it sounds. It involves a delicate balance of care, respect, and meticulous attention to detail. The professionals involved are tasked with the responsibility of handling the deceased with the utmost dignity, ensuring that this initial journey is carried out seamlessly. Once at the funeral home, the necessary permissions and paperwork need to be obtained. This is a crucial step in the process as it's important to adhere to all legal requirements. This includes obtaining a death certificate, which is an official document that confirms the cause of death, and a burial transit permit, which allows the deceased to be transported for burial or cremation. Now, let's discuss embalming. It's a word that can often stir up a sense of unease, but it's a crucial part of the Thanatopraxis profession. Embalming is a process that slows the decomposition of the body. It involves replacing the blood with a mixture of chemicals, including formaldehyde, which preserves the body. This process is carried out with the utmost respect and sensitivity, ensuring that the deceased is treated with dignity at all times. Following embalming, the body is typically refrigerated. This helps to further slow the decomposition process, and it also gives the funeral directors time to prepare the body for the viewing. Now, it's important to note that these steps aren't just about preservation. They're also about providing closure for the loved ones of the deceased. The goal is to present the deceased in a manner that allows their family and friends to remember them as they were, to provide a sense of peace. This brings us to the final part of the initial steps, making the deceased look peaceful and at rest. This is achieved through careful grooming and dressing, which we'll discuss in more detail in the next section. Once these initial steps are completed, it's time to make the deceased look peaceful and at rest. The next stage involves restoration, which is an art in itself. This part of the process is not just about preserving the body, but about creating a comforting image for those left behind. It's a delicate blend of science, skill, and empathy, creating a peaceful tableau that helps bring closure to the bereaved. The first step in restoration is washing. This is a meticulous process, where every inch of the body is cleaned with a gentle disinfectant soap. It's not only a way to prepare the body for the next steps, but also a ritual of respect, a dignified care for those who are no longer able to care for themselves. Next comes shaving. This is done carefully, especially for men with facial hair. The goal is to maintain the individual's usual appearance as closely as possible. For those who wore a beard or mustache in life, these features are groomed rather than removed. It's all about preserving the familiarity of the person's face, a face that loved ones would recognize and find comfort in. Setting the facial features is the next step. The eyes are closed, often with a plastic cap placed over them to maintain the shape. The mouth is closed and fixed into a natural position, usually with a slight, peaceful smile. This is done using a needle and thread or a special adhesive. It's a careful process, one that requires precision and an artist's touch to create a serene, sleeping expression. Lastly, makeup is applied. The aim is not to transform, but to enhance the natural complexion, to recreate the warmth and color that life once imbued. It's about adding those familiar rosy cheeks or the slight tan, the details that make a person, them. Each of these steps is carried out with the utmost care, a silent dialogue between the thanatopractor and the departed, a final act of service to both the deceased and the living. With the deceased looking peaceful, we move to the final stages of preparation. The last steps are dressing and casketing the deceased. Now that we've completed the restoration process, it's time to honor the deceased's final wishes regarding their attire and appearance. This process is done with the utmost care and respect, ensuring that the individual's personal and religious beliefs are adhered to. Dressing the deceased is a significant and delicate part of the process. It's not just about putting on clothes, but about honoring the deceased's identity and personal style. The attire can range from a favorite suit or dress, a military uniform, or traditional cultural attire, depending on the personal preferences or beliefs of the deceased and their family. Once the deceased is dressed, we move on to arranging them in a natural, peaceful pose. This is often a familiar pose, like hands folded over the abdomen or resting at the sides to recreate a sense of tranquility. This process is done with gentle precision, ensuring each detail is just right. The next step is casketing, or placing the deceased in their casket. The casket chosen by the family may vary greatly in design and material, from simple pine boxes to elaborate metal or hardwood caskets. The interior of the casket is often lined with soft, plush fabric, providing a serene final resting place. The deceased is carefully positioned within the casket, ensuring they are comfortable and appear at peace. Throughout each of these steps, the underlying principle is respect. Respect for the deceased, for their life, their choices, and their beliefs. Each action is performed with a deep understanding of its significance, not merely as a task, but as a final act of care and honor for the individual. As we close the lid of the casket, we do so with a sense of fulfillment, knowing we've done our utmost to prepare the deceased for their final journey. Each detail, from the attire to the pose to the casket itself, is a testament to the life they lived and the person they were. Now, the body is ready for the final journey. The final step is the viewing or visitation, the last chance for friends and family to say goodbye. This is a moment of profound significance. It's a time to reflect, to remember, and to honor the life that was. It's a time to gather strength from shared memories, to find solace in collective grief, and to say that final, heartfelt goodbye. The importance of this step cannot be overstated. It's the culmination of a process that is as much about the living as it is about the deceased. It's a moment that brings closure, an essential part of the healing process. We humans need to acknowledge and accept our loss to move forward, and this final goodbye is an integral part of that journey. And at the heart of this process is the funeral director, a guide in these unfamiliar territories of grief and loss. They are there to provide support, to offer a comforting presence, and to ensure that everything runs smoothly. They are the ones who, with expert care and attention to detail, have prepared the body for this final farewell. They are the ones who have worked to honor the life that was, respecting each person's unique journey and individuality. The funeral director is the bridge between the living and the deceased, providing a space for closure and healing. They are there to answer questions, to provide guidance, and to offer a comforting shoulder during this challenging time. They are the ones who understand the importance of saying goodbye, of honoring a life, and of beginning the healing process. Whether it's through a traditional viewing, a more personal visitation, or a simple moment of quiet reflection, this final goodbye is a crucial step on the journey of grief and healing. It's a moment that is steeped in respect, in love, and in the acknowledgement of a life well lived. And thus, we've walked through the process of preparing a body for a funeral, a journey that combines science, art, and a deep respect for the deceased and their loved ones.